Welcome to the party.
Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name's Steve and my co-host is Pete.
Good Statham to you, sir.
Oh dear God. Oh God.
Do you want to go again?
Started bad, we go downhill from there.
Do you want to start again?
No.
Okay.
So, this episode, we're just going to keep ploughing through. This episode, like this trilogy, is the third in our Jason Statham trilogy.
Statham is just outside London.
So, we're doing Homefront from 2008,
Yes.
2013.
Yes, we are.
And this is the last of our Statham films.
I'm very tired. I'm pre-warning you and everyone else.
Okay.
I'm very tired.
Right.
And
Okay.
I was about to say it may not make any sense, but that's already been proven by my opening line. However, you did then kind of usurp me with your reply. So this could be anyone who wants this to be an easy one to follow. Maybe come back next month.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Yeah. So I should say the first two that we've done in the Statham trilogy have been relatively disappointing. Yes. I have to say,
I would agree.
Compared to some of the other things, we gave them big scores, and last month I gave it a very poor score because I thought the film was pretty awful, to be honest. So I came into Homefront with low expectations. Yes. What about you?
Same here. I think the other sign is that we did the last one very early in April. We've almost run out of May. And I know we're both busy people, both very busy people, but we do usually manage to find an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. But this month we've both been, do it next week, and I think that I've probably been in a slight Statham-induced nadir.
Wow. I was just going to say I'm not enjoying his films very much at the moment. But yes, let's go with what you said too.
I hope it means what I think it... I do this a lot. I'll use words and then someone goes, that doesn't mean what you think it does. It happens to me a lot. So I hope that it means what I think it does and it's not the guy from Robin of Sherwood.
I don't know what that means, but let's just go with it. Okay, let's get into it and see what we thought of Homefront. The film opens in a biker bar, I believe.
It does.
Which was not what I was expecting, given what little I knew about the film.
Tonally I thought, is this the right one? This feels like Stone Cold, which we have covered before, or Out for Justice, which we haven't, but maybe one day we will. I still hold out for a Seagal trilogy.
I'm just a cook.
I still. Yeah, and it's bikers and then a kind of Breaking Bad style meth lab.
Yes, and it all essentially goes pear-shaped. They're trying to make a new deal, and then they're raided by the feds. DEA.
Just before the DEA raids them, we see Mr. Statham's wig or hair extensions or whatever. It just looks ridiculous.
Wig.
It looks absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, how would you weave the hair extensions into his bald head? It looks absurd. And at that point, I thought, oh no. I don't remember him having this hair for the whole film, but I hope this is just like the pre-titles bit.
It was, so, as it turned out.
So that was good.
But it starts with, quite a lot of action and shooting and that kind of thing, and you get to see a little bit of his character, what he's actually like, that he's an undercover agent working with the DEA, and he helps. Well, he tries to save this young lad. Jojo, who's trying to do something stupid and heroic and thinks he's going to be great, and Dalton's trying to talk him down, saying, no, don't do it. And in the end he goes for his gun, and it's death by cop. They shoot him like 30 times, and he dies, and the father survives.
You're one of us.
And he swears revenge, of course, on Dalton.
And then we find out Dalton's really called Brooker. Because that
Broker.
I can't read my own typing. He's called Dalton when he's undercover, but he's called Broker. And then we have a nice kind of slow-mo walk-off at this point. So up to this point, I didn't think I was going to like this film at all.
Me neither.
It's like, it's hackneyed, it's been done to death. And then the titles kind of come in at this point, and you go, okay, he's relocated, basically. He's...
I like the credits. It's worth saying. Normally we don't ever talk about the credits, but it's just the names flick up and blah, blah, blah. They actually use them well in this film. So straight away you can see that, yes, he was a DEA agent, and it shows you his resignation papers, it shows you his name properly as broker, it shows you some of the other cases that he's done, it shows that he's an experienced guy and he's resigned and left.
And he's moved to this kind of, it's not the Everglades, but it's that, I don't think, but it's that kind of place, and you get that sense as well. Also at this point is when you start realising, because this is Millennium Films again, which is kind of what used to be canon. And I think maybe all three of these films have been produced by them, actually. So their whole thing is that you can still do kind of medium budget action movies, and you can still do them with proper stars. And then you start looking at the cast list of this film, which I'd forgotten. It's like James Franco, Kate Bosworth, Winona Ryder,
Clancy
Brown, yes.
Frank Grillo.
Written by Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
And directed by Gary Fleder, who doesn't done much recently, but he did Kiss the Girls in a film that I absolutely love called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
Yes, I love that film.
He directed that. So
wow, okay.
At that point I was like, apart from James, is this really like 10 years ago? And actually, are these? But they've done exactly what they said they would do, which is start making films where they start increasing the level of the cast. And before we get too far in, I think the casting in this film makes a huge difference in terms of compared to the last two Statham films. I think this part suits him really well, but by having, admittedly, the last film actually had a good cast around him as well, but this one in particular, it felt like an early 90s, quite well-funded action movie in many ways.
Yeah.
It's slick. It's slickly done. But I looked up it doesn't say it at the start, I think, but it's a Sly Stallone script, but from a novel by someone called Chuck Logan.
And Stallone produced this as well.
Yeah, co-produced
it makes you wonder if this is another one that he's found the novel, bought the rights, and he's had it in his back pocket, and he's just kept optioning it to the point thinking, one day I'll do it. And then he's got... Maybe he just, because he's friends with Statham, he just kind of said, you know what, this is a younger role, maybe you should be the lead and I'll just be involved in producing it.
And as soon as they get to the town, it starts to feel a bit like Rambo, or a bit like First Blood in some ways. It doesn't, the whole film isn't, but the kind of, the way that he's someone who's, a dangerous man, but he's living a kind of normal life, and, I just assumed that the sheriff's role was going to be slightly different than it was. But so we get to this kind of real life kind of scenario where there's his daughter Maddie's in school and she's being bullied by a boy who's trying to take her baseball cap, I think, if I remember.
Yes, that's right.
And then she gives him 2 warnings. And then beats the living crap out of him, really.
Which was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I just love the fact that she said, I've warned you twice now. Thinking, that's an unusual thing for a kid to say. Then you understand why later on. But you go, oh, okay, yeah. And she just whoops him. And he's a big fat kid.
He's a big fat kid.
And she just takes him apart. And I laughed.
It's beautifully done. And it's like, as we go on further, again, hopefully people have watched it. This seems like a really incongruous moment. It feels like one of those little, he's got a daughter and she can fight, but that's got nothing to do with the story. But actually, the whole film starts at that point, really. It kind of, everything escalates, which I think, feels like how films used to operate compared to how films do now. So we see him, he's got short hair now, or his real hair, a baseball cap. He's doing up a house. So that's, again, it was...
his mate, Tito.
Yes, so he hasn't moved there very long. I recognise the guy, actually. He's from 8 Mile, I think. The guy who plays Tito. So he goes into school, and again, nothing in this film ever quite happens how you expect it to go, really. So the mum of the boy is really unhappy. The sheriff's there overseeing her. He's got to meet with the school psychologist. And then as they're leaving, isn't it, that the dad of the...
Well, the mother's egging him on, saying, you can't let him get away with this. Come on, Jimmy, do something. And is
that Kate Bosworth's the mum, isn't she?
Yeah, and she looks awful.
So against type.
Given that you've seen her in other roles where she's incredibly glam, in this, she's essentially a meth head, and she's skinny, and she's just, you know, quite skanky.
And she swears a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, she does. It's true. So she's egging her husband on, saying, you can't let this go. Yeah. And it's weird. It's thinking of, hang on, your son just got beat up by a girl.
Yeah.
But it's not that. But now you're egging the dad on. And Jimmy tries to have a go at Broker. And Broker's like, just leave it. Yeah. Just leave it.
He gives him, I think he probably gives him 2 warnings.
He does. Well. I think he does. He gives him 2 warnings.
It's beautifully done.
And then Broker just absolutely, like in a couple of moves, just pins him. And the sheriff's just watching.
No
and the wife's going, you leave this, you can let this stand, you can let this stand.
He flips him over and kind of almost does a sweep on him, and then he's got him in a chokehold. And his daughter's upset, and then I think he feels a bit, he's obviously very protective, but at the same time he feels a bit, well, I didn't really want my daughter to see this. But that's what I like about it all the way through, he's always trying to avoid confrontation. Like all good films of this type, really. But in Clancy Brown, of course, you know, he's been in an awful lot of things.
As the sheriff, or as the cook at top.
Blue Steel, Deadly Pursuit, Highlander, of course, was the Kurgan.
Yep.
But I think he's done like 250 roles. There's a lot of animation voicing and stuff as well, but he's really good in this.
Well, all the way back to things like Shawshank and all as you said, back to Highlander and Starship Troopers and I've been watching him on TV. He's been in Daredevil recently.
Of course.
Before that,
season 2 or season 1?
Season 2.
Yeah, okay. I have yet to see him then.
Oh, incredible. He's in Sleepy Hollow. I've been watching that. He's in it at the beginning, and then they've kind of kept bringing his character back every now and then. So, yeah, even all the way back to things like ER, he was in that for quite a while.
Yeah.
In the was that the 90s? Must be the 90s.
Might have been.
So, you know, he's been doing so much stuff. But it's just incredible. He's still going, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's quite fair. In fact, he just kind of says, well, I saw what happened. Yep, it's all fine. Off you go. He got what he deserved. You did warn him. And, he lets him go, basically.
But the wife is not happy. They're driving back and she is, again, swearing a lot more. At her husband, calling him a pussy, this, that, and the other. She's not a nice, particularly nice person. So she's like, I'm going to go and see I'm going to go and see my brother, get him to sort it out. And then you go, another star, James Franco, and he's beating people with a baseball bat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of tweakers that are sort of cooking up their own meth. And he basically scares them off with a baseball bat.
And his name is Gator Bodine.
Bodine.
Yes.
Yeah. Gator. Charming fella.
He's a charming fella.
The other thing worth mentioning is that all of the characters, including, well, maybe not Broker to some degree, but all of them appear to be one thing quite clearly, but they all of the characters change a little. You get to see another side of them. If this was a film in the 90s, you wouldn't have that. You just have them as they are. And equally, there's a scene later on that doesn't happen between Broker and another character. I was expecting if it's been in the 70s or the 80s and 90s, that would have happened. And so it was quite refreshing in some way that this film surprised me in small ways, but in ways that I never saw coming. So.
No, it's a valid point. So you straight away think this Gator guy's, you know, he doesn't seem quite, might be a bit of Drexel from True Romance. So he's a little bit unhinged. And I think then this is where Broker's daughter asks him if he was afraid and stuff like that. And then, so the sisters ask Gator to scare this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll do something.
And then he goes to get petrol by himself.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think that's it. To get it, they want an apology. That's right. They want an apology. Even the Jimmy guy starts saying he wants an apology, and then, he goes to get gas. And I love this scene.
It was brilliant.
Again, reminding me of Rambo or something like History of Violence, John Wick, Under Siege, those kind of films where there's someone who just seems like an everyday guy. Although not in all those films. But and then suddenly, if you push them, you know, I didn't think you could do that with a gas nozzle.
So it's about 4 guys, and they just start, you know, picking on him for no particular reason. But he's obviously aware that something's going on. Yeah. He knows that they're not just random hicks having a go at him. And so they try to teach him a lesson, and he absolutely kicks the shit out of them. Just beats them up really well. But he asks the guy, the main guy, and says, "Who sent you?" And he says, "No one." So it almost seems like it's random.
Yeah, you know, and he says to the guy whose garage it is, you know, are they locals? And he's like, no. And he's like, okay, if they're not locals, then there obviously is more to this. Yeah, it seems. But he's doing his kind of detective work straight away. But then one of them phones Bodine and tells him it didn't go well. We don't see them say it, but and he's like, I think to him, it's like, I think for my brother, for my sister, scare someone, the end. But obviously he's not a man that can be, you know, scared, and he's obviously still watching his back anyway, because of how he moved on.
Yeah, because Jimmy T swore revenge on him, and Danny T swore revenge on him, and he's you know, keeping an eye out. He's gone to a new place and started a new life. We found out earlier in a previous scene, obviously, that his wife died.
Yes.
And he's come back to this town of Rayville, Louisiana, which is where his wife was originally from. So it's sort of a new start for him and his daughter. Yeah.
And it's a nice scene here, him and his daughter on horses, while Gator's like letting their tyres down. But it's really nice, sort of, again, as a slightly step above a lot of these films, that, you know, there's a really nice scene, the daughter talking about missing her mother, and it's very, I think the father-daughter relationship is actually really believable.
Yeah, yeah.
And then things start to escalate a bit. The daughter's, I know this would have made you cross straight away, the daughter's cat is missing, Luther. Named after Idris Elba, is missing.
I thought it was named after Lex Luthor.
Could have been Lex Luthor, or it could have been Luther Blissett.
Pure evil.
Yes.
You know. Gonna Pete, cat's pure evil.
I don't say the cat's evil. I just think cats are slightly selfish.
Selfish.
Not the same as evil. Selfish is not the same as evil. Otherwise, we'd all be evil.
Cats are awesome. Just saying.
Okay. I didn't take the cat in this film. Me.
But, you know, at this point, when he took the cat, and doesn't he start looking for him later on? And it was like, no, I can't remember. Yeah. But I thought, right, if this is going where I think it's going, then Mr. Franco, we're going to have a falling out.
Yes. Yes, I thought that was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we get the first appearance of Winona Ryder.
We do. Well, Gator, I've written Franco all the time, and that's going to confuse me. He gets a file somehow. We don't really
steals the file from Broker's basement.
Oh, that's right. It's from his basement, and he sees. Well, he's kept his own file. I don't know, but he sees that he was undercover. He makes the comment, "Nice hair," and I thought, I now forgive the hair because the character has mocked the hair. So that's aside now, because within the film universe, it's ludicrous hair.
Yes, they've mocked it.
And then we see, like, there's the outcast biker gang, and you straight away think they're going to be brought into it, because I thought at the very start of the film, okay, this is a pretty obvious plot. These people are pissed off with him. He's going somewhere. They're going to come after him. And then as this started to escalate, I thought, they've really, really cleverly blindsided us. That was just introducing the guy. It's going to have nothing to do with that at all. It's just going to be to do with this local meth head.
Gator guy,
yeah. But now you start to go, okay, the two things are going to start to weave together. So, the girl's body's been cut off at this point as well. A cuddly toy.
Yeah, but it's got the collar of the cat on it. Because he hears the bell, he goes searching for the cat at night and hears the bell, and he gets there and it's just one of her stuffed toys with the head ripped off and the cat's bell on. At that point, I was getting annoyed.
Yeah.
Getting angry. We turned the film off.
So, he rings Winona Ryder. I'm just going to call Winona Ryder most of the time.
Yep.
Tells there's something big going on. She turns up. They have sex over a car. There's no real reason for that. Well, there was a reason.
Yeah, that was really odd.
It totally felt tonally out of place in this whole film.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, just
keep her busy, stop her stealing his stuff, maybe.
I don't know. It was an odd move, that's for sure.
And then there was a bit here which bugged me, but later I was okay with it because they he goes, you knew Jojo, didn't you? You used to work for Jojo. And I thought, what an annoying coincidence, because if he's just gone to this town and they find out about him and they go and find his history, That's interesting. But if they go, I know someone who knows the same people, it's like, America's quite big.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of people in it. Now, I appreciate this is a small town near to the big city that they were in, which to me, if you're going to hide, go further. But at this point, it does later, I kind of was okay with it. But at this point, I was like, no, you've done everything so far hasn't been contrived. But the first bit, I thought, that's just a bit annoying. I don't know what you...
It did seem very coincidental that Gator's girlfriend just happened to work with this particular biker gang. Like, there's only one.
Yeah.
And so therefore she knew someone who could, get word to Danny T.
But they kind of work that in, I think, better later in the film. So, so she finds out, she's like, it's a state narc undercover. She doesn't really want anything to do with it because, they've got this relatively successful small-scale meth operation in this town. But if there's an undercover narc guy there, even if he isn't doing it anymore, that causes a problem. But he sees that actually, no, the other way around. We work with this biker gang. Again, a bit like in Stone Cold. We work with this biker gang. Tell them where the guy is. They'll give us statewide distribution. If you've seen Breaking Bad, that's not how these things work.
Things never go according to plan. Just ask Walter White.
Indeed. So, at one point, Broker goes to see Jimmy, and you get the feeling that Jimmy's softening. He's actually not. He's not quite the person we thought. As you said, he's just kind of trapped in this life. His brother-in-law is giving his sister the drugs, so she's in a state, and he's just kind of. You almost get the sense he's actually looking to Broker just to kind of let this all go away. And then the daughter's birthday, and again, all the way through this film.
Just before that, there's a bit where Broker's talking with his friend Tito, saying, have you heard about this guy Gator? And he says, yeah, because it's a small town, they all kind of know each other's business. And he talks about vendettas, and he talks about how, you just saying they leave feuds going, and you have to say sorry, and he thinks it's all over, and he's like, no, it's not. You don't know this town.
That's right. He said, he said, someone's been in my house. He said, well, that's just how it works. And it's just like, I've always thought this, having lived in cities and in the country. If I stay out late at night in the city, I'm not really that worried. But actually, I think scary rural people are much worse.
Hey, boy, you got to put that. You're not living in...
It's, Dorset's a bit like Deliverance.
Oh, dear. We just lost Dorset off the map. I'm
from there. I can. That's okay. It's okay.
You can mock your own country.
You're allowed, aren't you? It's like family, isn't it? I can say it, but you can't say it.
Moving on. Yeah, but this is quite an interesting thing about Gator. He says that Gator ain't true.
That's right.
And he says, what do you mean? He says, well, he's got a deal with the sheriff. And I thought, I knew it. Yeah. I've yet to see a role where Clancy Brown
is not, Poor guy.
He doesn't play romantic leads. He doesn't play heroes. He always plays villains. He always plays shady characters. The minute he turned up as the sheriff, I went, bent copper. And it turns out he is. I
still think that what they should have done is Sly should have put some weight back on, like in Copland, and he could have been the sheriff.
Maybe.
That would have been fun.
Yeah. But we find out that Gator basically has a deal with the sheriff. Sheriff looks the other way.
Yeah.
And he is
a snitch, isn't he? So he gives him information on other people, and as long as he keeps doing that, he's allowed to do his meth.
Yes, it gives him his competition, I think.
And then I think Winona Ryder goes to visit someone from The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead?
It's one of the guys from The Walking Dead. The guy she goes to speak to get to Danny T. Hang on, I'm going to find out who it is now.
His name is Pruitt Taylor Vince.
And he's also in Constantine. He's one of those people, he looks like, you go, he's been in loads of things.
I remember Constantine, he was the priest, he drank himself. Yeah, spoilers.
Walking Dead, he was Otis.
Okay. There you go.
How many episodes? I don't know. He was Otis. Did you not remember that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so goes to see him, and he's a dodgy lawyer who works with the biker gang, who knows Jimmy T, and she basically gives him the file saying, we know where this broker guy is. We want to do a deal.
That's right.
No, it's a favour, she said.
Yeah. Just, don't you want anything in return? Well, distribution would be good. No, that's not yet. Sorry, that's not yet. That's with Frank.
She just said it's a favour.
Yeah. So broker is still trying to make everything okay.
Yes.
Despite what his friend has told him. So his daughter then invites the boy to her birthday party, and then...
Which I thought was quite a nice thing, because Broke had already apologised, and then he thought that was the end of it. Then he said to the mother, the son gets invited to the party, and the mother still tries something and says, there was blood on his shirt, you're going to buy him a new shirt? And he just says, yes,
I'll buy
a new shirt. And she's like, oh, okay then. And it seems like it's over. Yeah. You're like, oh.
Totally risen above it.
It's okay. And the mum's not, happy, but she seems to have got over it. And it's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I thought she'd just, keep fighting it.
Yeah, this is where we first see Frank Grillo, isn't it?
And there's a good kind of juxtaposition here that's really interesting. You've got the cross between... so Winona Ryder goes and talks to him and tells him what's what. But then you get the party, and you've got this juxtaposition with an impending doom.
I assumed
with a very happy scene.
Something very bad was going to happen at the birthday party. I was waiting for the dead cat to be thrown onto the birthday cake or something.
Because they keep intercutting between bikers and guns and drugs, and then, yay, party and cake.
And again, I'm watching this thinking, okay, in 2016, they'll hint at this. If this was 1986, a kid could even get shot. I can remember back to some really terrible straight-to-video films starring the likes of Wings Hauer. Exactly. Where, like, the opening scene would be, like, someone's parents and their kids getting killed. In that time, at the start of virtually every film, someone's wife or their children or their parents or everyone would be shot. But now you wouldn't see even in a I don't know what rating this was, but you wouldn't see a child get killed in a film like this anymore. Which I'm pleased, as a parent of a child the same age as the one in this film. I'm pleased about that. But as a teenager, like half the films I watched had kids being killed in them. This is just a particular video shop near us. But no, but things have changed, haven't they? But this film feels a bit like a film from back in the day, but not to that extent. I think.
Yes. So it's as you said, there's this impending doom, and nothing actually happens at the party.
No, it goes past. I mean, she's had this meeting. And she's just so stupid. Cheryl, isn't it? She basically just says to this guy, it's Frank Grillo, he's in Captain America films, The Grey Warrior. He's not a guy you met, a bit typecast, but he's not a guy you mess with, really.
No.
And she's like, I'll tell you where this guy is and his kid if you give us if you get this deal, the distribution. And he's basically like, no, you tell me or I'll kill you. And it's like, it's not hard to work out.
No, but, Gator already told her and said, she's already said to Gator, he's not a nice guy, he's a real nutter. This is not going to work. And he's like, no, he's fine.
You've got to learn some words. Like, I'll write you a script. If you say what you want to, it'll go okay. This is not cold calling to sell double glazed. No.
Hello, sir, I'd like to send you some solar panels. No,
I'm going to kill you. That would probably work.
The solar panels?
Probably get rid of the cold calls.
Yes.
Actually, might try that. Your computer is a virus, sir. I'm going to kill you.
So yes, it's an awful scene actually, because he's not because of what he says particularly, which isn't very nice, but the fact that he's shoving crawfish in his face at the same time, and it's really grisly. I'm just watching it going, ugh. What's he doing? Anyway, so he basically says, tell us where or you're dead.
Yep.
And then it goes to the end of the party.
Yeah, and then...
where you've got some friction. And this is where I thought, okay, here we go.
With the psychology.
There's knowing looks between the teacher at the party and Broker. And the fat kid is there.
I think that there was I personally think they shot it with a romance and they edited it out because later... she's referred to as his girlfriend.
Is she?
Yeah, by one of the guys threatening him. He says, where's your daughter? She's been babysat by your girlfriend. The teacher. So I don't know.
I wonder.
Who knows? But it's still the obvious thing to do, and I'm glad they did it.
This is it. As I said, if it was the 90s, you would have had a scene later on with him and the teacher in bed.
Yes.
And got the whole scene and everything.
And there probably would have become a decision where he had to rescue either her or the child, and he'd choose the child, and she'd get shot.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So this was the bit where I kind of was okay with Cheryl's old job, because Broker rings his old captain, I guess, colleague, and sort of to find out more. And he's like, this Gator guy is kind of quite small time. However, his girlfriend used to work for Danny T, and it's like smuggled drugs. You almost start to buy it as not being coincidence as much now. Oh, I did. I've put here, it actually shows us a small world that they're living in, and you can't escape your past, which is also the message, I guess, for as well.
Yeah.
But then he goes to see Gator and Cheryl in the diner, doesn't he?
Yeah, Tito's told them where they eat every morning, and he goes there. And this is one of these things where you said, if you see something, they always bring it back later on. Yep. And this is what it happens again, because Franco's character, Gator, keeps using a couple of lines on him, saying things like, "Oh, I can smell the wood burning. Is that you thinking?" I thought, you really don't want to say that to him, because he's just going to kick the shit out of you. We've seen him do it, but he's still pushing him. He's still pushing Broker.
Yeah.
For some reason, probably because he's in public and he doesn't think he's going to beat the crap out of it.
Yeah, and I think he's not all there.
No.
But I think at this point he didn't know who Cheryl was, although it's not hard to work out. But then he gets a picture through and he knows, okay, the girl he's with is the person. So yes, the bikers are coming after me, which is a proper threat now. Up to now, Gator's not a very nice guy, but you don't really think any way capable.
No, he's small fry.
Yeah, he's punching above his weight. So I got a bit confused at this bit, then I realised what was happening. So he goes to Gator's place, doesn't he, to start checking?
Yes, so he does the reverse. Gator's been to his house and looked through things and found his file and stuff. So he does the opposite. He goes to Gator's house, he looks through it, he goes to the boatyard, which is attached to it, and he finds a panel that's sort of echoing weird, looks in some barrels, and finds the secret meth lab.
And then he decides to remake Home Alone. Home Alone, I've put. But yes, MacGyver makes more sense.
Goes MacGyver on him, and I thought, what's he doing? And I realised, he's setting an enormous trap.
Injecting light bulbs.
With stuff, and he's playing around with fuses and rewiring it. I thought, what? Right, some kind of trap then, I guess. And he puts everything back in place.
And then he's distracted by Luther the cat.
Yes, he sees him, and hooray, he's alive! But here's the sweet thing that tells you it was a film made like only 3 or 4 years ago. There's a little bowl of food, a little bowl of milk, and Luther the kitten having his
crazy
food.
meth head who has no consideration for human life is, however, looking after her cat. I know what you mean. Maybe the novel, the cat was killed very brutally. Then maybe the first draft of the screenplay in maybe the 80s, that it was killed, but not particularly brutally. And then over the years, it's kind of gone to the cat's. The cat's fine. He's going to be in the sequel. It's not a problem.
In the sequel, Keanu.
It could be. This reminds me of John Wick in a way. Not as stylized, but it's a similar kind of territory.
It's true. So, but he gets distracted by the cat. Guys grab him again.
Yeah, someone's got a shotgun, which he takes the guy out. But then he looks at the cat again, because you always should. And then he gets hit in the face with a pipe.
He does.
Well, not a smoking pipe, by the way, a big pipe, not like a smoking pipe. Because I don't think... I just imagining someone hitting Jason Statham in the face with a smoking pipe. It's not going to do much.
No.
Can you smell the wood?
Can you smell the wood? Again, you can't.
Yes, that's a different sort of film. So then he's getting... It's a very kind of Jack Bauer type scene where he's like, punch him, put his head underwater, punch him.
Yeah.
And again, there's a few films, try to remind me of Last Boy Scout, where, because that's obviously protecting the child and Bruce Willis being, tied up. And I was confused. Oh, is it Gator? No, he's not there. But these guys, I think they've done it without Gator knowing, haven't they? Because he's obviously got...
Yeah, they said, Gator said we're not supposed to do this. He said, I don't care. The main guy's embarrassed because Broker beat them all up
easily
at the gas station, and he doesn't care. He just wants his revenge. Yeah. I mean, they've cable tied his hands behind his back. They're not stupid. Yeah. And yet,
I know. I mean, this is where they said, you know, your daughter should be babysat by your girlfriend, the teacher. But yeah, even though he's tied up, as I've put here with an amazing typo, he kicks their axes.
It's true. He does kick their axes, and it's really good. Again, it's a really good fight scene because he kicks them a few times, then he gets his hands loose, and at that point I thought, oh no, you've threatened his daughter. Yeah. This is not going to go down well. And he absolutely beats the shit out of them.
He does. Properly,
just takes them apart. I was wincing a lot watching this fight scene. Oh, it wasn't good.
No, but it was.
Statham's so good at this kind of really short, kinetic fight scene.
It is. And it's like the last film, the Hummingbird, the fights were really good, but everything else around it wasn't as good. Here, I love the fact that he's a character that you push and push and push and he won't do anything, and then you threaten his kid and he snaps, but he doesn't snap he's never out of control, is he? It's all very measured.
No.
He feels more like a military guy than a police guy.
It's true. But see, the thing is, so the difference with his fight scenes is they always look really good, and yes, we know it's acting. He's not actually smacking the guys so much, but they look so well done. So I don't know if it's something that's always because it's him, but it always makes them look like they're really suffering.
Yeah, no,
the people he puts down.
There's something very believable about it. I know what you mean. It's usually he's quite close to people. It's not like these big kind of kinetic, kind of almost ballet moves. It's much more just get it done quickly. The fights are relatively short, but they are very brutal.
And in the 90s, you know, they would have traded punches for 2 minutes and then wiped their lip and gone, oh, okay, and then they took the person apart. So as you say, they're realistic in that way. But I think these fight scenes, especially Statham ones, are much better than something like you get in the Paul Greengrass Bourne films. People go, oh yeah, it's really realistic, they're really close up and blah blah. I can never see what's going on in any Bourne film because Greengrass shakes the camera. And he's saying, oh yes, but it puts you in the middle of the fight. I'm saying, no, it doesn't. One, it gives me seasickness, and two, motion sickness too. I can't see the fight, no matter how good it is, no matter how hard he's trained to do this and how long they've spent choreographing it. I can't see what you're doing. You're spoiling the film for me. And yet you watch these Statham fights, they're short, they're brutal, they're punchy, they look painful, and they're just so well choreographed.
I agree.
So I always like to see him. I can just watch 2 hours of him just punching and kicking.
True. Actually, that's what, from watching these three films, it's made me just go, just exactly that. Let's just watch him doing that.
Walking down the corridor. Like that, you've seen the first season of Daredevil, haven't you?
Yes, I've seen the first season.
So you know the corridor scene.
Yes,
Imagine just an hour of Statham walking along the corridor. That's money. I'd pay for that.
I wonder if they'd put him in the third season against him. I don't know who he'd be.
Bullseye?
Maybe. Yeah, that could happen. This is a bit where I admit, and you know this as well, is that I haven't seen any of the Bourne films, which I think possibly means I'm not allowed to continue with the show and I have to put my headphones down, but I haven't seen any of them. I just didn't see the first one. I thought, there's another one, and I'll get around to it, and then the next, there are 10 of them or whatever there are. 5. But I actually own, I think, the first 3 on DVD still in the cellophane. So we may have to do at least one of those at some point.
Okay.
Maybe. But
I saw the first one. Mm-hmm. I think I saw the second one, didn't see the third one. Then I saw the reboot, rejig, refresh with, what's his face? Hawkeye.
James Renner.
Jimmy Renner.
Yeah.
Danny Renner. Mr. Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner, there we go.
The Renner brothers. He's the most well known.
Yes. It's like the Baldwin family. And they don't talk about Adam. He's not part of the family. So I watched that one, and essentially it's the first film again, but with a different bloke in.
Okay.
It's not quite shot for shot, but beat for beat of the film. I was going, hang on, I've seen this film. You go, no, you can't, it's new. Oh no, I saw the first Bourne film. Yes, that's right. It's just the same thing again. And then with the new one, they've gone back to.
But the trailer for that looks amazing. But then I'm like, well, I can't really watch that without seeing all the others, so I might have to watch all the others.
Well, you could. But anyway.
I could.
But I know you're a completist.
But I won't.
You can't. Other people could, but you can't.
But the irony, though, of all this, I can't now, but as a teenager, I saw Back to the Future 3 in the cinema, having not seen the other two. That's bad.
That is bad.
But this is much worse, and this could get me removed from the geek community, from the podcast, from everything. I saw Highlander 2 in the cinema, and then I bought Highlander 1 on video the next day.
I'm amazed it didn't put you off from ever seeing anything ever again.
That's true. The person I went to see it with went, I know you didn't like that. This is much better. And I watched it and went, why did they make that a second one? Why did they make them aliens? Sorry, spoilers for anyone who wasn't around in 1986.
The first one's great. The third one's amazing. Second one, we don't talk about it.
The third one?
The third one's back to form again.
Is it with, what's his name? Oh, yeah. He was in everything.
Him.
What is his name?
Him.
He's in everything. No, I know. I don't mean Christophe Lambert. I mean...
Christophe Lambert.
He's French.
It's Christopher Lambert.
He's French. How can it be called Christopher Lambert?
Christophe Lambert.
That's his name. Christophe Lambert. It's not Thierry Henry. It's Thierry Henry. Come on.
Who's Thierry Henry?
He's a footballer. But you are now making me fear that you're a Brexit person. Anyway.
Stop it. Barry Van Peebles.
Yes, Mario Van Peebles. Yes, son of Mr. Van Peebles. Yes, him.
Son of Pete Van Peebles.
No, it's not. He's an actor director.
Is he?
Yeah, and an actor. Yeah, and the third one is quite good. I think.
This one's great.
The fourth one, I can't remember. The Sorcerer. That's the.
What's the fourth one?
Yeah, with Adrian Paul and Christopher Lambert.
Oh, I never saw that one because I couldn't.
Who's Christophe Lambert? He's French.
Christophe Lambert. If anything, it's not Christophe. It's got an R on the
silent
end.
R.
Right. Okay. Peter.
I'm not French.
He's not French. He's Belgian, isn't he?
What do they speak in Belgium? French and Flemish. They don't speak.
No, we're both
Geordie.
wrong. He was born in Long Island. There you go. He's an American.
Like the iced tea.
What?
Long Island iced tea. You don't know your football. I'm on the wrong show.
You want to go on your Christophe Lambert show?
I do. Avec Christophe Lambert.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway,
right.
Are we still talking about a film of some sort? Homefront, yes?
No, at this point, I think, let's say it's true, the bikers turn up in town.
They do.
They're coming after
and he's
Broker.
planning to leave, so he's not looking for trouble. He's like, hang on, this is serious. I've got a child. Made a promise to my wife. But I quite like the bit here, they're packing, and the daughter's like, but Mum wanted us to live here. That's why we're here. Yes. Which I think is, again, what elevates this film is really good casting, but like proper drama alongside action, which is a refreshing.
There's a good scene here as well between the bikers and Gator. This is where you get the twist on his character, one of them. You realise that all along people have said he's not much of a player, he's just a little local meth dealer, and he's totally out of his league. And this is where you realise that Gator is actually a bit of a wuss.
Yeah.
Because his bikers turn up and they're proper hardcore with guns and things, and he does nothing.
No.
He basically lets them walk all over him because he's really scared. They've got a big network. They do distribution of drugs across the country. And he's just a guy that cooks up meth in his shed, really. And
they want to take Cheryl with him. And if he was a boy, he'd be like, no, you can't do that. He's like, yeah, okay. I'm going to play pool.
Yep. And that's it. He just says, yeah, fine, off you go.
And
he'll show you where to go.
At this point, I thought to myself, there's probably half an hour left. And there was half an hour left. Because, again, these films, they're an hour and a half. They hit those 3 acts pretty much on the money. And you go, okay, the bad guys are here. We know what our guy is capable of. Off we go.
Tito turns up to take the horses and says...
He goes to load up the nags.
Yes. He goes into the stables to load up the horses and take them away. And I thought, good. Get them out the way. We don't want to see animals hurt in this film. No animals, cats or horses or dogs or... People, fine, yes, but animals, never, no.
Well, I put here was this is proper casting in an action movie. It reminds me of Nowhere to Run. But Nowhere to Run is a film I know most people don't like, but I really like. You seen Nowhere to Run?
I can't remember.
Van Damme and, what's her name? Oh, not Rebecca, no, Rosanna Arquette.
Maybe.
Kieran Culkin.
I have to go back and have a quick look. Yeah, so it's... I also got a weird Bird on a Wire vibe for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why, just at this point, the whole kind of... People are coming after him.
I have to fight my Aaron Neville impression now.
Yeah, go on then.
No, I'm not going to do it. No.
Okay.
I'm fighting.
Okay. So, yeah, the bikers turn up. They can see... And doesn't he spot them and then Broker turns out all the lights because he sees them there?
Yes, that's right. Well, no. First of all, the first person who turns up goes after the other guy, doesn't he? With the horses.
He goes into the stables, that's right.
And the thing I love about this is that the guy can hold his own. Yes. The assumption would be, well, he's a farmhand.
His mate Tito's not.
Mate, he's but he's winning that fight straight away. And you think, what I love about it is like there's a character we know nothing about his background.
Yeah.
And but you get the sense that he, can handle himself. Well, you see he can. Then he starts losing the fight. Guy goes for a gun, and then he stabs him with the
pitchfork.
The hay fork. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
And then neither did he.
I thought he's dead.
Yeah.
And then he starts pressing on the horn, and that warns Broker.
Yeah.
But then they shoot Tito, and the horns fall silent. And then he goes to his gun case. I like this, because before he took out a handgun, and now that he knows they've arrived, he goes back to the case, takes out a shotgun. Yep. I thought, he's not messing around now.
And it's interesting, because, it could have been, the biker gang could have been them all literally on bikes and all kind of their hair flowing and their patches on the back, but they're more like an assault task force now.
Yeah, they've got, machine guns and stuff. They're a bit disciplined, it seems. So they then try to invade the house.
That's right. He sends his daughter to the basement, tells her to ring 911. Which I'm thinking, if that goes through the sheriff, that's not really much help to you. But he just starts shooting people.
They open the door and he shoots two of them with a shotgun. Some others try to come into the window. He shoots them.
But then they realise where his daughter is. I can't remember how.
She makes a sound when someone gets shot, and they come in through the basement.
That's right. So he then cleverly grabs one of the guys and puts him in a position where the others all shoot him. I love it when that happens in films. I love it when they do that. So now they know where she is. So she runs off into the woods. She's in a much bigger threat. That reminds me a bit of one of the first shows we ever did, Blind Fury, where the kid has to run off into the cornfield. So all this happens. Gator's playing pool. He's hanging out with the sheriff. He's just hiding, really.
Yes, in plain sight, so that none of the blame will fall on him.
So Cheryl rings him, and she's like, "Look, this is you said this wouldn't be public. It would all be kept quiet. It's just like they're going to come in and do it and go. They're making loads of noise. There's big gunshots. There's sirens. This is not what I was signed on for, really."
Yeah, and she wants to run.
It's a proper firefight now.
Oh yeah. The whole place is lit up with gunshots and lots of chaos and dead bodies everywhere, really.
And so one of the guys, they're pretty nondescript, in fairness, apart from
Grillo.
Everyone else is kind of just there's none of the kind of charisma of the kind of hard target kind of people. No Svenny Thorson here. It's just random stunt guy with a beard.
Yeah.
So, which is, in a way, I'd rather you got to know him a little bit, like in something like Roadhouse, when they killed the sidekicks, you kind of go, because that thing that happened before. This is just he's killing people because they're after his daughter, which it still makes sense, but it's not as much fun. So they're chasing after her in the woods. Guy's basically got the drop on her, just about to shoot her, and Broker shoots him in the back.
Kills him, but he had a great fight with Grillo before that.
Is that before that? No, it's not. I know it's not, because Grillo catches up with him after, because he saved the daughter. That's right. And then there's also this great moment again where he stops, looks at his daughter, she stops and looks at him, and it's almost like we're both in danger, but she's like, you've just killed someone, and he's thinking, you've just seen me kill someone. It's a really, just that little beat that, again, you wouldn't get in a schlocky kind of film. And that's where he gets jumped on by Frank Grillo, and then he tells her to run again.
Yes, that's right. And they're quite a good fight, actually, because Grillo does a lot of action films, too.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Winter Soldier and Civil War fights that he's in. It's very similar, kind of. It's very kind of up close, almost Krav Maga, is it?
Krav Maga, yeah. It reminded me of the fight in Roadhouse down by the river.
Yeah.
It's much like that kind of thing. Both guys are, good fighters, and in that film, that was the same thing. They're both sort of, the top guys, and this is, Statham versus the top biker guy, and the two of them go at it, really, and there's lots of flipping and kicks and punches and sort of almost wrestling moves, slams,
kind of thing.
Yeah, scissor kick things, all that kind of stuff.
Good. But it's
a good fight,
it's not very long.
No, which I thought it would be, we said, in the 90s, films that go on for 5 minutes, fight scenes, and then they take the person out. But I thought, okay, this is the main fight scene. You will actually get a bit more, but you don't.
Or the other thing that would have happened is Statham would have won, he'd have left, and then the guy would have got back up.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen. It's almost like it's clinical, really. One of these guys is going to lose, and it won't take that long. And he's got, I don't think it's about skill. I think it's more about he's got a real reason because he's actually protecting somebody. But at the same time, this is when the daughter gets grabbed by Cheryl, isn't it? You think, and it's clever because Cheryl has kind of said she wants to leave. She's kind of said in the past, not sure about killing a kid. So part of me thought, maybe she's actually going to help now. Maybe she's going to turn. But not really.
Well, she sort of does, because she says at one point, look, it's not safe here, kid, come with me. And the girl's like, no. And so, hang on, there's a forest full of guns and bullets. Surely it might be safer to go. But no. So then does she hit her? Or
I think so. She
clocks her and then shoves her in the boat.
And then you think, well, actually, either she was trying to help her and it's backfired, or she was always her insurance.
And she's just kidnapped her now, really.
So then it kind of, the film changed a little bit. The sheriff is there because she'd rung 911. So he turns up, and I didn't know what was going to happen here. I thought, he's in with Gator and that, but I quite like this. Is that he's allowing this guy to do this thing, which does hurt people, but it's not the same kind of thing as this. This is much bigger, and he's looked at it and gone, the right thing to do is to just man up. So the daughter comes through on the radio, and she rings from the boot. She
rings. She's got her mobile phone, and she rings her dad, and it gets put through on the police radio, saying that I'm going here, I'm going there, and she's describing landmarks.
That's right.
He basically works out where Broker's girlfriend's going to go. She's going to go back to the boatyard, and so he steals the police car and just drives off. The sheriff's like, wait, no, don't. Oh, okay. And he just goes. And the daughter keeps cutting in and out. And then Winona Ryder gets back to the boatyard.
And I love this because, as you said, the whole nature of Gator underneath, he's a massive coward. And actually, he has no idea what's happening. He's the villain of this film, but he's totally at a loss, isn't he? He's out of control, and he doesn't really understand what's going on.
And his sister turns up, and this is where you get the other kind of twist on Kate Bosworth's character, Cassie, because up to this point, we've seen her as quite a vengeful person. We know that she's a meth addict. We know that she's quite weak. She's quite horrible to her son. She swears a lot. She's horrible to her husband. And then she comes to confront her brother and talk to him about something, and realizes that they've kidnapped this girl,
here in the back,
and realizes who it is. And she sort of says, are you insane? And, you've really gone too far at this point. And she tries to take Maddie away. She's like, don't be silly. I'm taking her away. I'm going to, give her back to her dad. And you sort of think, well, actually, she's showing a bit of humanity, her character.
And it's interesting because he sort of says, well, you started all of this.
Yeah.
Which is true, but
yes,
pretty loosely. She basically just said, scare this guy because his daughter's hit my kid, which I don't agree with, but at least, within their little world, there's some logic to that. Where he didn't say, oh, and by the way, can you find out he's a narcotics agent and
contact the biker gang and get them to come in and kill everyone.
And she says, people are dead, a child is missing. This needs to stop.
Yeah, and he has a fight, sort of a struggle with his sister, and a gun goes off, and there's that awful thing where you stumble back and wonder who got shot, and it turns out his sister. He shot his own sister.
No.
Which I was surprised, actually, but I didn't think that would happen.
No. And this is where the MacGyver stuff comes into play.
Yes, he goes into the meth lab, turns on the lights, and it explodes. It does.
I was very lucky the daughter wasn't in there.
That was pretty close. Yeah. I thought she was going to get blown up at that point, and he'd run by himself, but it didn't.
I think if she was going to get blown up, it would have been about 20 minutes earlier, and then it would have been a very different film.
Right.
Statham went completely loco.
Yeah.
But again, I put here, this is reminding me of Commando, Last Boy Scout. It's a well-known trope, isn't it? Kind of, they got your kid.
It's true.
But then Broker's got it's a much clearer thing now. It's just the two of them, really, because Gator's driven off in a pickup truck, and then Broker's going after him in the police car.
Yeah. And so you get the great chase sort of car scene, and the sheriff's now watching and pursuing and can see what's going on and sees which direction he's going and tells him to close the bridge. And Gator's car gets onto the bridge, skids, and flips, I think, doesn't it?
They both flip, don't they? Well, police car definitely flips.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So Gator gets onto the bridge okay. Broker just keeps going, gets clipped, and flips over. And then he's stalking towards Broker's car with a gun. And his daughter tries to get involved, telling him, you don't have to kill him, don't do it. Which I was quite surprised at. I thought she wouldn't,
Yeah.
But
he's going
does.
over like, I'm going to kill your dad, basically. You don't look away.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a lot of swearing. So he's swearing like crazy at a girl. And then, I can't remember how Broker just gets out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets out of the car.
Yeah.
And, there again, just beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And turns the gun on Gator, and you think, oh, that's it. Yeah. He's just going to kill him. But he doesn't. But this is where you get the repeat thing, the callback to really a thing. He says, oh, can you smell the wood fires burning? Are you connecting all the dots? Yeah. Which goes back to the scene in the diner from
and he says something about reputation, doesn't he? Because earlier he said about, I don't know who you think I am, but I judge people by reputation. And he's like, and it's the first time he's actually been angry in the film. And it's the first time he hasn't been in control. Because, but he does, again, in these films, don't do it, he's not worth it. He's, and that's pretty much what happens. The daughter pretty much says more or less that.
Well, she's watching again, and he doesn't want to kill someone in front of his daughter. You think that
and I guess
if she wasn't there, he would have done it.
Yeah, and before, at least when he shot someone, it was to stop them shooting her. This is cold blood.
Yeah.
At the point. So, and then, years ago, every film I watched would end in this way. And again, it's a Shane Black thing as well.
Fade to slow-mo.
Well, no, someone's in an ambulance, and someone else says, let's go home. That's how all action films used to end.
True.
There's someone else, you're in an ambulance, let's go home. And this film ends with the sister in an ambulance, so she's not dead, because it's a modern film, she survives. And he just turns to the door and goes, let's go home. And
you think that's the end of the film.
And then there's a brilliant scene, I think, for me. So he goes in to see Danny T in prison, and you think, is he going to kill him? No, he's not. He's just like, I know this was you. When you get out, I'll be waiting. So
yeah. And then he hangs up, and that's it. And I thought, oh, okay, I didn't expect that. And that's it. The film ends.
Yeah.
Which was surprising.
It was, but yeah.
So, well, I guess before we're going to talk a bit more about some of our things whilst we do the scores, let's do the score and talk about what we liked and didn't like.
First.
By Crum. Shut up, you idiots. It's time to give a score. Do it. Do it now.
Who do you want to go first or shall I?
Rock, scissors. I don't know.
Okay, you go.
Statham, rock, scissors. Okay, I'll go. I really like this, and I was very surprised. Having watched the last two, I was like, well, this will be, again, some nice moments, but it won't really hang together. But I liked it from start to finish. Okay, not quite. Okay, I liked it from almost the start to the finish. The only niggle I had was the kind of the Winona Ryder bit and how she was linked to the biker gang. I just thought that was a little bit too convenient. But everything else, it took me back to films from years ago, which I think is exactly what they were trying to do. It's the best I've seen Statham in a film where he's the lead, I think. And the action was great. I like the way it starts off as hand to hand, and as through the film it becomes to be guns, and by the end it's a car chase. So it ticked all the boxes in that respect. I'm a sucker for revenge stories and stuff like that. So no, I was very, very pleasantly surprised, and on that basis, because we don't do half bags,
no half.
I'm going to give it 4 bags.
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Of the 3 Statham films we've done, I agree this is the best one, and I came in with low expectations after the first 2. I was thinking, there's quite a few Statham films that I've not seen. We'll pick some good ones and we'll watch them. And oh God, no, we didn't do very well. So this time I was pleasantly surprised. It was kinetic, the film. It moved at a good pace. It didn't dwell too long. It might be that you say they cut out some bits, like the romance scenes and more of a romance angle with the teacher. I don't know, but they kind of hint at things. I like the turn on all of the characters. So you think James Franco's character is the main villain. It turns out he's not. He's actually just a bit of a weasel and a coward who's a small-town drug dealer, and yet in an earlier scene he's made to appear to be the big-time guy because he beats up these kids with a baseball bat. And then, very quickly he's turned around as soon as the bikers turn up. You realise that he'll just do anything to protect his own skin. So there were some nice turns, there was nice twists. Statham was really good fight scenes. They didn't give him a lot of dialogue, which was probably good, based on what we've seen on some of the other ones. But equally, the scenes that he had,
he was good. I think
the actress who played his daughter were very good. As you said, it was a convincing father-daughter relationship. I believe that she was his daughter and that he genuinely cared about her, so that was really good. Winona Ryder, I think she was massively underused. That could have been any actress in there. It didn't really necessarily need to be her. I don't think she particularly brought anything, to the role that someone else couldn't have done. The rest of the cast were great. Grillo was quite, typecast, as you say. And so was Clancy Brown, because he just plays villains now. He always plays shady characters, come on. But, yeah, interesting turn from Kate Bosworth. Never saw that coming.
Yeah.
And yet there's room for her to do. So, a surprising film. Entertaining, good action scenes. I'm actually also going to give it 4 bags.
Wow, I was waiting for a 3 from you. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Me too. I think the extra bag was the surprise factor and the delight of finding it better than it was.
Yeah, because after the first 2, you know this because I've emailed you. I think, should we just start doing older films?
Can we go back to the 90s, 1882?
And actually, but this. As I said, it felt like a late 80s, early 90s film in many ways, but without some of the bits that now seem a bit naff, like the misogyny and the unnecessary nudity. Although there is the sex scene, but there's no smoking. There's no smoking.
Lots of swearing, as you said.
Yes, there's an awful lot of swearing in this film. Goodness me, in front of a child. But I mean that's up there with some pretty big, well-known films that this is not. The weakest thing for me is the title. For some reason I thought he was going to. I don't know. I thought it was going to do with Homeland Security rather than Homefront. He's on the front at home. Yeah.
Okay. So, have you seen Homefront? What did you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I was about to say yes, but I've seen it.
I know you. I meant you, the listener.
Sorry.
Hello, listener. So, have you seen it? Did you enjoy it? Didn't you enjoy it? Let us know. Email us, bagsofaction@gmail.com. Come onto the Facebook group. Talk to us about this film or other films. Let us know. Follow us on Twitter.
Do you think it's worth a 4?
In the meantime, it's that's it for this. I've said that already.
Yeah, it is it. It is now actually it.
That's it.
This is the post-credits scene. Samuel Jackson could be in that.
He does turn up a lot in films, doesn't he?
Yes.
Just walks into the scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
You stopped yourself from saying it's good night from me and it's good night from him, and that is what's tripped you up, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
You have been listening to Bags of Action. You'd better stick around for the next episode, because if you're lying, I'll be back.